Hi, so this video is a little introduction to probability. We come across probability in all sorts of places in life that we probably don't realise that that's what it is. But for example, looking at the weather, if you look at the percentage chance of rain at the bottom here, that might help you decide whether or not you're going to hang your washing out. So at the moment on this weather forecast, it's obviously very low, 1%, 2%. So I think there's a good chance that your washing will be dry quite quickly, but that's one example. We can put things on a probability scale. There are different ways to represent it. We can either use words, so impossible, unlikely, then even chance. If you flip an unbiased coin, you're just as likely to get heads as you are a tails, so that's evens. Likely, and then certain. And you can also represent these with numbers. So certain is 1 or 100% if we do it as a percentage, and impossible is 0. Evens is a half or 50%, 0.5. And then unlikely can be anywhere in between, to be honest. I've marked on a quarter or 25% and 3/4 or 75%, but you could have a percentage anywhere in between depending on how likely or unlikely something is. So we're going to have a little look at some of these probabilities and have a think about where we might put them on the table. So firstly, A, what would be the probability of you winning the national lottery this Saturday? So for me, it will probably be impossible as I don't enter. But if you do enter, your chances are pretty slim. So I've got marked it as A right down this end. It's probably even closer to impossible. Probability of it raining tomorrow. Well, given we've just seen some of the weather, it's unlikely at the moment. Depends on the weather forecast though, on the time of year. C, rolling an even number on a regular six-sided dice. So on a regular six-sided dice, half the numbers are odd, 1, 3 and 5, and half of them are even, 2, 4 and 6. So it's half and half, or evens. And chances of the Labour Party getting into power at the next general election. This will change, obviously, but I put it here, and I'll show you why in a minute. I used some other data, which I'll show you in a minute. The sun rising tomorrow, well, we hope. It's pretty certain the sun will rise tomorrow. So see maybe if you can think of some more examples and where you would put them on the probability scale. So the reason that I chose that D, the Labour Party getting into power, as somewhere between unlikely and evens, is from using this graph that I copied a couple of weeks ago. And this one shows the voting intention at the moment for Labour to be less than Conservative, although we all know things can change. So we're going to look, we've talked about the words, impossible, unlikely, evens, likely and certain. You might get asked a question where you have to pick one of those, or you might get asked for a specific number as a fraction or a percentage. I usually choose fractions for probability because, well, I'll show you why. So the probability of rolling a red, we've got a bag with counters in it, 2 red, 2 yellow and 1 purple. So the probability of rolling a red is 2/5 because there's 2 red ones and there's 5 in there altogether, so 2 out of 5. So the probability of rolling a yellow, again, 2 out of 5 because there's 2 yellow. And what do you think for purple? That's right, it's 1 out of 5 or 1/5. And what you'll notice is that all of those fractions add up to 1 because it's certain that you will pick one counter. And this is for mutually exclusive events, which if you carry on to GCSE, you'll learn a bit more about. What is the probability on a fair? You might hear the words fair or unbiased die or dice. That means that it's equally likely to fall onto all 6 faces. So the probability of rolling a 2 is 1 in 6 because there's only one side which has got a 2 on it and there's 6 faces. An even number. So an even number is 2, 4 or 6. So 3 numbers out of 6 altogether, 3 out of 6, and we can simplify this down to a half. And less than 5, so less than 5 doesn't include 5. So we've got the numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we've got 4 out of 6, which again we can simplify to 2 out of 3 or 2/3.